So this stratosphere layer is you can assume almost free from the clouds and associated weather phenomena, and that is why they make the conditions most ideal for flying aeroplanes, aircrafts. And other important feature of stratosphere is it contains ozone layer. And the third one I told you that it is the mesosphere. It extends up to the height of 80 kilometer, and meteorites actually burn up in this layer on entering from the space whenever they try to enter into the Earth atmosphere. Then fourth layer is the thermosphere, and see one more property is there that as you go from the Earth's surface to the tropopause or uh, up to the atmosphere, then in the troposphere the temperature will keep on decreasing, and then from the tropopause up to the stratopause, the temperature will increase from tropopause to stratopause, and then from stratopause to mesopause, the temperature again goes on decreasing from stratopause to mesopause. Then again, the from the mesopause to thermopause, temperature will be increased. Okay, we will see the reasons and other factors and other phenomena in the coming videos. And ionosphere is a part of thermosphere. I will told you it exists between 80 to 400 kilometer, and this layer helps in radio transmission. And uppermost is the exosphere, and this layer has very thin air, and some light gases like helium and hydrogen float into the space from air. See, we have already covered this weather and climate difference. Weather is actually the how hour to hour, day to day condition or changes of the atmosphere. For example, a hot or humid weather, or a pleasant or breezy weather. So weather is the day to day changes or hour to hour changes uh, in the atmosphere. But the climate is the average weather condition of a place for a longer period of time. So that is why uh, we have a daily weather forecast, but the climate of a region is some definite type. Like the climate of India is monsoon climate, but we can see that daily weather report in all the TV news channels. Now, please remember this fact that the Earth receives only one part of the 2 billion parts of the sun's energy. Now, if you see the definition of temperature, temperature is actually the degree of hotness or coldness of air, and the temperature of atmosphere changes not only between day and night, but also from season to season. And summers are hotter than winter. This is by a very common sense. Now, another factor that influences the distribution of temperature is insolation. Insolation is actually the incoming solar energy is intercepted by the Earth, and the amount of insolation decreases from us towards poles because the sunlight will fall directly on the equator. But as soon as it moves from equator up to the poles, the rays will be slanted and inclined, and that is why the amount of energy, the amount of solar rays, the falls on the poles are very less, and that is why poles are frozen areas and the temperature is very less in the poles. So that is why this is the reason that poles are covered with the snow. And there is another factor that temperature in the cities is much higher than that of villages because of the concretes and metals in the buildings and the asphalt of the roads. They get actually heated up during the day, and this heat is released during the night. See, this there is another definition for this, and that is known as albedo effect. Albedo is the actually the amount of the energy reflected. So albedo of the concrete is very less, and that is why the more of the sun rays will be absorbed by this, and that is why these cities are known as urban heatland. We'll see all this in the coming videos. Now there are these four weather instrument. Thermometer, it actually measures the temperature. Barometer measure the atmospheric pressure. Then rain gauge actually measures the amount of rainfall. Then wind shows the direction of the wind. Now the standard unit of measuring temperature is degree Celsius. Everybody know this. And the another definition is air pressure. See, air pressure is defined as the pressure exerted by the weight of the air on the Earth's surface. And as we go up the layers of atmosphere, the pressure falls rapidly, and the air pressure is the highest at the sea level and decreases with the height. And that is why the reason that the whenever the astronauts go to any other planet or moon or see this is the another reason whenever the mountain hikers actually they do the trekking on the mountains, they actually have the oxygen cylinder with them because on the heights you know the oxygen would be less, the volume will be less, and the and now we can see the another fact that on the moon there is no air and no air pressure, and that is why astronauts have to wear the special protective space suits filled with the air whenever they will go to the moon, because if they did not wear these special space suits, the counter pressure exerted by the astronauts would make the blood vessels burst and astronauts would start bleeding. See, whatever the air pressure, the air presses our body, the our body also will exert the equivalent, a counter pressure on the earth, on the air. So we can say that the air presses us from all the directions, and our body also exert a counter pressure. And as we go up the layers of the atmosphere, the pressure fall rapidly, and the air pressure is highest at the sea level and decreases with the height. And if you see horizontally, the distribution of air pressure is influenced by the temperature of the air at a given place. And in areas the temperature is high, see when the temperature and pressure have inverse relation. If the temperature would be high, the air would get heated and rises, and that is why it creates a low pressure area. So high temperature means low pressure area, and low pressure area is actually associated with the cloudy skies and the wet weather. But if the temperature is lower and the areas having the lower temperature, the air would be cold and therefore it would be heavy. So low temperature means high pressure, high temperature means low pressure. Okay. And in the areas of low temperature and high pressure, the heavy air sinks and creates a very high pressure area, and that area is associated with clear and sunny skies. Now the air always moves from high pressure area to low pressure area. This is the fact, and that is why uh, the wind formation takes place. And wind is named after the direction from which it blows. For example, if the wind blowing from the west, it is known as westerly. The movement of air from high pressure area to low pressure area is known as wind. And you can see wind at work as it blows